Hey, 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 what's up? Oops, turn it up back off. Hey, what's up? What's up? This is April. What's up, my TCG fam? Okay, so today's the day. Forgive me. I just came from the gym and I was tired this morning, so I look a mess a little bit. But that's okay because we're not here for me. We're here for P. Diddy. Okay, so everybody, as you come in, please like the video, click on subscribe, click on the like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. And we're going to get into the 4-page letter that Puff Daddy wrote last night to the judge in the middle of the night. So 4 pages of information that this man wrote to the judge. I wonder what's in it. I haven't got a chance. I think I read like halfway through the first page. So we're going to get into that. My eyes are a little sleepy, so I'm going to kind of be on and off with the camera. And yeah, the sentencing is today. And no one knows really. Everybody's just kind of speculating. Everybody's speculating. No one knows what is going to happen in this courtroom this morning. So and then we've got our live updates that we're following as well. So we might have to have our letter might be interrupted because I think proceedings are supposed to start at 10 if I'm not mistaken. So we want to make sure that we don't miss a beat. So let's get there as well. All right, so the first thing I want to do is pull up the letter. Guys, bear with me. All right, let's get to the letter first. All right. Yeah, they said it starts at 10 a.m. So we might have to get into our letter later because we got like 10 minutes. So, oosh. Well, I can just still get everything set up for our letter. So, yeah. Oh, I know that Sean is like right now. What do you think that he's thinking right now? You're not talking about somebody that had, this is a person that had probably to him a super duper life. You know what I'm saying? Like more freedom than most of us have. You know what I'm saying? Able to do anything and everything that you want to do at the drop of a dime. So freedom has already been taken from him for all this time that he's been in prison, in jail. And now he's about to be sentenced possibly for a long time, possibly. So I can just imagine what that letter entailed that he wrote to the judge last night. I can just imagine. Because if it were me, I would have been pouring my heart out. And that's what I can say about that. All right, so let me see what I downloaded to my files, the letter. And don't worry, we're going to get into it and keep up with it, guys. So I'm just going to stay here. Okay. I write you a 4-page letter, and I with the kiss. And when I write like you better get it on time. Mhm, 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 mhm. All right, here we go. Let's get that sent the right way. Okay, bam. Scan. All right, let's see. Let's refresh. Okay, here we go. Let's download. Okay, downloading. Alrighty. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute ago. Ooh. So the U.S. wants 11 years. He wants time served. Today he has a video and at least 4 lawyers to speak. They opposed Mia's testimony. Remember Mia? Oh, but she is going to speak. So Mia's going to speak again. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks for him. All right, so he's still not been brought out yet. A U.S. Marshal brings out a big sheet of papers and a red book. They searched underneath the chair. I guess that's the chair that P. Diddy is going to be sitting in. They made sure the chair was clear. They looked underneath it. All right. See, I like that, how they give us like exact um up-to-date information. I love those live updates, especially since this court was not offered for public viewing. All right, so I've got the letter ready. Let me go here. Let us share. All right, let's see what he wrote. Now, anyone who comes in, if while I'm reading this letter and popping back and forth from the live updates to the letter, if it's too confusing, because we don't have much people that may come in here anyway. So if it's too confusing, just say, look, can you just read the letter and then we go back to the updates, because they gotta have a lot going on in there anyway. So, or if you want to stick to the updates, just let me know. That's cool with me. Okay. Because I'm one of those ADHD type of people. I'm bounced like bam, bam, that's me. So all right, so let's see. Comment, also like the video, guys. Share it. We're trying to grow the channel. It's important to me. Okay. All right, so let's share. See, I told y'all I hop from place to place in my mind because I was just doing this and then I went to something else talking. As soon as I start speaking about something, I'm on another thing. So screen. All right. See something. Okay, so you all already see that version. I'm sending you a 4-page letter, and I invite you with a kiss. And I write like, okay, see. Okay, so now this judge's name is very hard to pronounce for me. Honorable Aaron Subramanian. We should know it because we've heard it so much over this trial, this time of this trial, but I just can't pronounce it very well. So I'm going to call Judge, I'm going to say Judge Sub. Okay. Dear Judge Sub, I hope this letter finds you well and in good health and spirits. Thank you for the opportunity to express my thoughts to you. First and foremost, I want to apologize and say how sincerely sorry I am for all of the hurt and pain that I have caused others by my conduct. I take full responsibility and accountability for my past wrongs. That is such a good way to open up this letter to a judge that has your life in his hands. That's a great way. This has been the hardest 2 years of my life, and I have no one to blame for my current reality and situation but myself. In my life, I have made many mistakes, but I am no longer running from them. I am sorry for the hurt that I caused, but I understand that the mere words, I'm sorry, will never be good enough, as these words alone cannot erase the pain from the past. Over the past 13 months, I have had to look in the mirror. Like never before. My pain became my teacher. My sadness was my motivator. I have to admit my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. The scene and images of me assaulting Cassie play over and over in my head daily. I literally lost my mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I loved. I'm sorry for that and always will be. My domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will have to forever carry. The remorse, the sorrow, the regret, the disappointment, the shame. I honestly feel sorry for something that I couldn't forgive someone else for. If they put their hands on one of my daughters, this is why it is so hard for me to forgive myself. It is like a deep wound that leaves an ugly scar. Your Honor, I thought I was providing for Jane concerning her and her child, but after hearing her testimony, I realized that I hurt her. Now, Jane is the one that supposedly, allegedly, is 50 Cent's baby's mom. For this, I am deeply sorry. I lost my way. I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core. Jail is designed to break you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Over the past year, there have been so many times that I wanted to give up. There have been some days I thought I would be better off dead. The old me died in jail, and a new version of me was reborn. Prison will change you or ill you. I choose to live. All right, let's take a pause. We're on page 2. Let's see what has been updated. What's this? Combs' lawyer, well, this was a little earlier. Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, Agnifilo and Brian Steele are talking low next to the lectern. Alexandra Shapiro stands with Nicole Westmoreland. Nicole is our girl from Young Thug's trial. The prosecutors are seated at the front table, -1 Marina Comey. Now, I will say this. One thing that I don't understand as far as someone's testimony this morning or like having them speak is Mia. I don't, well, you know what? I'm not going to speak on that. I'm going to try and be as biased as I can. And try to take my opinion out of it as much because I know that everybody have different opinions and I welcome all opinions. So I'm going to not be so opinionated, but at a certain point in a woman's life, in all of our lives, like we have to be held accountable for our own actions and choices as well. So if we're getting all this money from someone's paying our bills, taking care of us, and we're choosing to stay in a toxic relationship or choosing to stay in a relationship where we don't like what's going on, and because we like, oh, but my rent won't get paid, you're a grown person. It's your responsibility to handle your own responsibilities. So if you feel like, oh, I was trapped in a situation because they were holding my rent over me, that's not somebody forcing you to do anything. You should be paying your own stuff anyway, or able to anyway. You could have somebody pay it, but I mean, if they choose to, if they say, okay, if somebody says, April, go order somebody, or else I'm gonna take away this. I'm not gonna do it, right? So, we all have to be held accountable also for our choices as well. You can't just years later say, oh, well, he forced me because he said he was going to stop paying my rent. Come on. I think that's just a bit crazy. So, yeah, that's my take on a lot of stuff, but all right. So, we're going to get into page 2 of the letter. All right. Give me just a moment here. Okay. Just a moment. Give me one moment, everybody. Back on. All right. So let's see. We're going to go to check on our updates before we get into page 2. Nothing's going on. Nothing else has been updated yet. All right, so I've got another reporter that's inside the courtroom, and I'm just going to bounce back and forth from these two different reporters because this one has more details involved, in the stuff that because I'm a nosy person, so I want to know how everybody's seeming to be and all that good stuff, and this is a female reporter, and so females, we're kind of nosier than males, so males report differently than females. So let's get into the females version of what's going on in the courtroom right now. So it says Combs lawyers appear relaxed. Okay, they're relaxed, and Brian, he's always relaxed, so we already know Brian is just a cool, relaxed man. As they arrive in federal court ahead of a crucial hearing that will determine their client's fate. Alexandra Shapiro, okay, we already know who's in there. Outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, there were lines and crowds everywhere. You hear that? Lines and crowds everywhere. And I'm sure, okay, while a crowd of people, including news media and interested onlookers, gathered for the Combs sentencing, many others were there for a naturalization ceremony in the courthouse. All right. What? The prosecutor who led the team in convicting Combs at trial this summer won't be speaking at his sentencing after being fired by President Trump's administration. Why? I did not know about that. Okay. Former federal prosecutor Maureen Comey was fired just weeks after Combs was found guilty on 2 men at charges. Huh. So Comey filed a lawsuit against the administration alleging that her termination was without cause, without advance notice, and without an opportunity to contest it. That's interesting. Comey's father, former FBI Director James Comey, was indicted by Trump administration last week on 1 count of making a false statement and 1 count of obstruction. Now that's a whole nother story, y'all. That's a whole nother situation. Let's go on down to our updates inside of this courtroom. All right, so no updates after that. Okay, so let's get on page 2 of our letter. Oh, wait. Okay, so this was updated too as far as the family. Let's talk about what we saw from the family. So Combs family members, all 7 children, and his mother are expected to be in attendance, and many will speak. So some of his family is going to speak, y'all. Some of his family is going to speak. His legal team also requested to speak on his behalf and is preparing a 15-minute video to present to the court. Is there pre-sentencing filing? Okay, let's see what the latest is. Okay, Combs' mom. This is as of 5 minutes ago. Combs' mom and other close family members and friends started to file into the courtroom about 9:45. Okay, so that was not 5 minutes ago. That's 9:45 a.m. Combs' family and friends were mainstays during his week-long trial. The courtroom is almost full as of the sentencing hearing is about to begin. All right, so the courtroom was almost full at about when this was written, well, this was posted at 10:04. So that was about 10 minutes ago. The courtroom was almost full. All right. So let's just keep. Oh, y'all, I want to stay on this, but we got to get back to our letter. I know, but I want to stay on this. So if y'all want to stay on the letter or stay on this for now, let me know if I'm moving too fast, if my ADHD is taking over because I'm bouncing from one thing to another. Let me know if it's too much, because I mean this is juicy, and we're the nosy. I'm the nosy. So I'm like into this. I don't want to miss anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we already missed the whole trial because it wasn't, we weren't inside the courtroom like we were with the young thugs, but we want to get as much as we can with these live updates. All right, so let me go back to the original source, the mail reporter. Let's see what he's doing. See if he's got any updated information. So that's see. 8 minutes. Let's see. Okay, so uh this is 10:11. So this was about 4 or 5 minutes ago. Sean Combs is brought in. So Sean was brought in about 5 minutes ago in a white shirt. He puts his papers under the table, leans back, and blows a kiss to the gallery. His mother, Brian Steele, standing next to him, our guy, whispering in his ear. Okay. All right. So that was the latest from the mail. Hey, y'all, what do you think? What's gonna happen? Oh my goodness. I know this man, your fate lies in another person's hands. Oh my goodness. Yeesh. All right, let's see. Y'all, we'll get back to our letter. We'll see what Sean wrote, because I mean, I don't know how fast this is gonna go by. I don't want to miss something that, I mean, because we're already missing details because it's just we just going by live updates. So here we go. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, let's go back to our female reporter, because we're gonna get those nosy details with the female reporter. She's basing off of her writing is off of emotion, and oh, this person seems scared. That's how females write. Men just write about the facts. So okay. And this one is behind. The female reporters' postings are a little behind the males. So yeah, okay, we're just gonna keep going back and forth because you know how this stuff happens so fast in real time. Let's refresh. Okay. Okay, let's see if there's any updates. Okay, no. So the last update was, Brian still whispering in Sean's ear. All right. All right, so we're gonna, I guess, get back to Oh, and I wonder what the video, that video, I think they said it was 15 minutes long. I wonder what that video entails. We will find out. That's for the defense. So the defense is presenting some video that's going to be about 15 minutes long. Maybe it's going to entail something like him with his family, all the accomplishments that he's accomplished, and is, something like that, I'm assuming. Okay. I'm just going back and forth. We'll get it. We don't want to miss anything. See new post. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, so this is what the female states. We're going to stop saying female. The other reporter states the rapper entered the courtroom at 10:10. She stated for a sentencing hearing wearing a cream sweater. You see the difference? That's what I'm saying. You see the difference in the male version and female reporter. The female reporter says he wore a cream sweater. She's very detailed. The male reporter said white shirt. So we want to know the details. We want to know if it was a cream sweater versus a white shirt. We just want to know because, so that's why I say you see the difference between males and females. We're just very detailed. All right, wearing a cream sweater with a white button down underneath and black pants. He gave hugs to and shook hands with his legal team and took a look at the folder at his seat when he sat down. Finally, he gave his family a look. All right. So court is now in session. Judge Sub has taken the bench and Combs' sentencing hearing is underway. So it started. All right. Let's see. Wait. All right, so we're gonna just go back to our letter. Let's just read a little bit of it, like go from paragraph to paragraph, I guess. All right, so this is page number 2. So he says, every day since my incarceration, as difficult as my circumstances currently are, I have made the best of my time by reading books, writing, working out, or in therapy, obtaining the tools and knowledge to deal with my past drug abuse and anger issues. And that's another thing too, everybody. Remember now, this man was on some heavy drugs. I had no idea that Puffy was on drugs like that. I had no idea. I had no idea. So he's also had to go through like drug rehabilitation. And then from my understanding, remember when he was arrested in the hotel, there were drugs up there. So he was like on drugs up until he went to jail. So I have been putting in the work and working diligently to become the best version of myself to ensure that I never make the same mistakes again. I realize that I am in a situation where no amount of money, power, or fame can save me. Only God can save me. My grandmother used to teach me that God makes no mistakes and that everything he does is for your good. I believe that a bad situation can be used for good. Although this situation has been the hardest and darkest time in my life, good things have come out of my incarceration. I'm telling you, he's saying definitely all the right stuff, asking for forgiveness for sure. For starters, I am now sober for the first time in 25 years. Wow. All this time I had no idea. For starters, I am now sober for the first time in 25 years. Can y'all believe that? I've been trying to I've been trying my best to deal with my drug abuse and anger issues. That could be where the anger issues came from. People were saying that he was a little aggressive and bossy and all that. It could be because he was on drugs. Yeah, but shoot. That means that all those times we saw puffy hype, and we were just like, God, that's a go-getter. Back in the day when he was younger, it could have been something more. Well, we not even could have been, it was something more. I am now sober for the first time. Okay, issues and take accountability as well as positive steps towards healing. One of the most beautiful things I have experienced is being asked by my fellow inmates to teach and mentor them. They wanted to learn what I did to become a successful businessman. I was inspired by their hunger and desire to learn information in order to not only set goals, but achieve any goal, dream that their hearts desire. I started teaching a 6-week program called Free Game, title given by my fellow inmates, which I was able to have approved and sanctioned by the Bureau of Prisons. I don't just teach about my success, I also teach about my mistakes and failures. It has truly been a blessing to do something positive in a negative situation. It has been beautiful to see the newfound hope in my fellow inmates' eyes. The most shocking thing was to see the unity and the peace this class has produced. I can imagine that. Can you imagine, like, the unity? Because that's got to be inspirational. I mean, that's just reality. It's got to be inspirational to be in the presence of someone who succeeded, who became so successful in the music industry, especially if you're, you know, especially being a black man. And majority of the population in jails are black, so they're probably, the young, especially the younger men. They're just, that's got to be inspirational with him teaching them and giving them um direction as far as how to where to start and how to become successful. That's got to be inspirational. All right, so this was a minute ago. All right, so judge said he's received reams of paperwork on both sides of the case and he's ready to proceed. Okay, so he's received the paperwork, he's ready to proceed. The material includes sentencing memos, exhibits, letters from family, friends, and inmates, and a defense video. So I can't wait to see what that entails. I have read all the material and read the letters and greatly appreciate, oh, excuse me, he hold the court. All right. They're moving quick now, guys. All right, let's see. Okay, listen. Mia will not make statement at today's sentencing. Remember Mia. So she was supposed to have been speaking today. She is not going to speak. It says a woman referred to only by a pseudonym throughout Combs' trial was expected to offer a witness impact statement during Combs' sentencing today. However, moments after the court began on Friday morning, it was announced that she no longer wished to speak. Wow, that is a plus for Combs, right? Okay, instead, she submitted a victim impact statement that prosecutors are asking the court to consider in Combs' sentencing. The government referred to the woman as victim 4 in Combs' indictment, but through the trial, she was referred to as Mia. Mia used to work for Combs as a personal assistant, telling the court that she witnessed Combs' frequent bouts of violence and had to clean up hotel rooms after Combs' drug-fueled sex marathons, which included sex workers. She also told the court that Combs sexually assaulted her while she worked for him. At the end of her testimony, Mia told jurors that she had never wanted to discuss some of these moments in public. And so that was her little testimony summary there. So she is not speaking. So that's a plus for Combs. That's good for him. Okay, so this is all right. How female reporters winning over our guy. All right, let's see what our guy has for us. Anything that we don't already know. Mm, 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 mm. I want to go see what I'm going to tell you somebody who I was just reading Young Miami, see if she had anything to say. That's one person who had some really good representation as far as like her public relations person, because she has not spoke about anything. And me, if that was my boyfriend in this situation, like I mean, I don't you would have to I guess you couldn't say anything, but she's been going live on Instagram and performing and all this stuff. She's been holding herself together. No opinions whatsoever. All right, so we know Mia's not making a statement. Okay, so nothing since then. All right, so let's get back to our letter. All right, so he was talking about what he started as far as his class that he started, about being successful and stuff like that, and the unity that it's brought to the people and so the inmates. As you probably As you are probably aware, jails and prisons are segregated places. However, in our class, we have Black, Spanish, white, Asian all together in one room, learning and working together. We have even had an interpreter for the Spanish speaking inmates. The biggest miracle that I've seen with this class, let's see. All right. The biggest miracle that I've seen in the class. Okay, so, wow, listen to this. The biggest miracle that I've seen with this class is all of the gangs, such as Bloods, Crips, MS-13s, Trinitarios, and 18th Streets in one room working together. I am also proud to say that since the class started, there have been no fights in our unit. This class has also helped me in my time of need and despair. Being able to do something good for others has also given me much needed hope. God blessed me with this opportunity to help others, and I will continue to do so. And that's one thing about blessings like that. Like, some people are really blessed with like leadership skills, honestly, where it's not forced. And no matter what place you're placed in, what situation you're placed in, you always carry that leadership role. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if anyone has worked for like a corporation, but if anyone has seen a person that may have been on the same level when you started with everyone else, and then you saw them like grow, and like each place that they went to, they carried that same gift. That's like, well, that's a gift. And that's what Puppy has. I mean, we got to give it to him. He's done a lot, especially when he was younger, with the things that he wasn't afraid. And that's what it takes. Is it takes being fearless. That's because fear keeps us from accomplishing a lot. Fear, not believing in ourselves, and that some people just have that unforced gift of just being that go-getter. I ask you for mercy today, not only for my sake, but for the sake of my children. God blessed me with 7 beautiful children. Let me stretch. 3 sons and 4 daughters. Their names are Quincy. All right, Quincy. Justin, Christian, Chance, Jesse, Delilah, and the newest addition, a 2-year-old daughter, Love. 4 of my children lost their mother, Kim Porter, as she tragic. Okay, so he's talking about Kim as she tragically passed away in 2018. I am their only parent. I have failed my children as a father. My father was murdered when I was 3 years old, so I know firsthand what it is not to have a father. More than anything, I just want the opportunity to return home and be the father that they need and want. Oh, and deserve. That is really interesting that he brings up Kim Porter, because something that a lot of people talk about, especially us Black women, like the stuff that came out with how Cassie felt about Kim. It's one thing to be jealous of, a baby's mother, because we learned a lot. We learned, number one, that Kim and Puffy was still together, which a lot of us knew it. We were surprised when Puffy popped out with Cassie. Um, but then when you, anyway, so, but just to hear that, like, she actually pretty much like took him from that situation. And then because she, when she took him from the situation, but she never got the attention that was given, that he would give him. So she was jealous, and she said some disparaging things about Kim, that a lot of people will not forget. And once this is over, like, she's going to have to face that if she is indeed, going into, staying in the public's eye, because a lot of people, a lot of Black people just, a lot of, well, then you got women who are like, hold on, she was a victim, 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 so they're going to definitely support her regardless. But then you got some women who are like, how could you dare say that about Kim? Because you got people that knew Kim went through certain things, and they look at her as a victim. So, to call someone allegedly old, and then what they say, oh, Black, like, that's, she's gonna have to face those, face that at some point. All right, let's see our updates. Let's see. Um, just a moment. Okay, so the judge has made a few statements. Let's read those. So judge says, um, he said a lot actually. All right, so he says, I can allow judge, this is judge words, I can allow them, correct, as I overruled the defense wanting to exclude Mia. Within your discretion, Mr. Steele, okay, for the children and Dr. Johnson, and then Steele says, Reverend Doctor, and then judge says, I'll think about the others. And then judge says, now as to the objections, the defense says acquitted conduct cannot be considered. There's no guidance from any court on this. We don't know what the jury was thinking, but it's above overlapping conduct, and it only impacts the advisory guidelines range. Acquitted conduct can be considered. And then he says, see U.S. versus Vaughn, 2D circuit. In other cases, even matters that cannot be considered for the guidelines can be considered under 3553A. Now the United States objections, they argue for the criminal sexual abuse guideline. And then the judge says there is little precedent on what type of threat is required, but bodily harm makes most sense. Concrete harms to force Jane and Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts. Does this conduct establish the convicted conduct? There was a flight from from okay, and that's one thing, it cuts off at a certain point. Okay, and then judge goes on to say, did that meet the requirements of bodily harm threat? There was evidence of that in the case with respect to the hotel nights and freak-offs, but in light of the constitutional questions raised, the court declines to apply the cross references. Okay, but 3553, since I can consider it 3553, it does not impact the sentence. Next, Mr. Combs' marking of pads as legal, that was troubling, but the intention is not clear. The government could have pushed to clarify it, so I will not apply the enhancement. Okay, then he goes on to say the government objects to probation not considering Jane and Miss Ventura as vulnerable victims. I overrule this. What made Combs' coercion effective was their condition anyway. The court would reach the same conclusion. Now, Mr. Combs' objections. Okay, let's go to the other. I know she's got some updates by now. Okay. Mm-mm. All right, so we're going to get back to our letter. Let's see. I ask you for mercy today, not only for my sake, but for the sake of my children. God bless me with 7 beautiful children. Okay, so we went over that. All right, so that they need and deserve. God also blessed me with the greatest mother in the world. My mother sacrificed her life and dreams to provide for me and my youngest sister, Keisha. She worked 3 jobs to make sure we had a roof over our heads, clothes on our backs, and best education. My mother is now 84 years old, and she recently had brain surgery. Despite her own health challenges, she attended my trial every day. A mother's love, boy. I have always been her primary caregiver. It breaks my heart that I put myself in this situation for the first time. I am unable to be there for my mother when she needs me most. As I write you this letter, I am scared to death, scared to spend another second away from my mother and my children. I no longer care about the money or the fame. There's nothing more important to me than my family. I understand that one factor the court has to consider is deterrence for me and for others to ensure that no one follows in my footsteps and makes the same mistakes. I don't think there's too many people. Actually, you know what? In a different way, there like some of the stuff, honestly, y'all have to be real. Some of the stuff that people call freak off, some of those things people do all the time. They're just not puffy and they're just not being put on blast for it. Like people go to you live here in Atlanta, like people go to the strip clubs all the time, get girls to go to the mansion park, come on. For over a year I've been locked in one room with 25 other incarcerated people sharing the same one room. In this room that I share, there are no windows, there is no natural clean air. There is no sunlight, and we all live in one room. We eat, sleep, use a toilet, take showers, and prepare meals all in the same room. The conditions that my actions have placed me in are inhumane. I don't tell you this for or sympathy. I'm simply sharing my truth and the truth of my fellow incarcerated people. We have no clean drinking water, and we boil our drinking water. We all share one washing machine, which is broken. I am surrounded by drugs and live every day with the constant threat of being stabbed or losing my life. Again, I'm not expecting pity or sympathy, but my time at MDC, that's Manhattan Detention Center, has changed me forever. Wow. See, just like with when Young Thug was trial, like they thank goodness for Lil Woody discussing the conditions of the jail on Rice Street, but now they opened up a whole investigation. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, they went in, and the prison, that jail has had to make serious changes because of the inhumane conditions. All right, so there's okay, so she's talking about what the other guy was just talking about the acquitted conduct. All right. And we're just going to read her take on it because she's a bit more detailed. Judge Sub gave prosecutors at this sentencing hearing the freedom to cite acquitted conduct, referring to actions by Combs and charge for which he was found not guilty. The court will be best to determine whether okay, so that's she just quoting what the judge already said that we already went over. Okay. Okay, so even though Combs was cleared of the most serious charges of running a criminal enterprise, testimony about the alleged coercion he might have used against former girlfriends Jane and Mia could be cited. Yeah. All right, so they're still discussing the acquitted conduct. Let's see. Okay. And that noise is my dog. That's my dog snoring. Alice, Alice, hey, hey, girl. All right, let's see here. Acquitted conduct. Okay, so they're still talking about the same thing. Okay. Okay. So he goes on to talk about there was Jules. This is still the judge. There was Jules and Paul and Cabral, Jules, Reggie, and Rice as to coercion. I think we just talked about that actually. Let's see. Mr. Combs, this is still the judge about 3 minutes ago. Mr. Combs says he was paying for time, not sex. That is contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prostitution. See, we haven't gotten that far in the letter. Has he? To me, he has. He didn't go into detail as far as what he's done wrong, but he said, "Forgive me for my wrongs." But this is what the judge says. Mr. Gomes said he was paying for time, not sex. That is contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prostitution. Combs has challenged his guilty full throatedly, including after trial. Mr. Combs wants to apply the 0 point offender provision from 2023, but 2024 on other issues, that is not possible. Under 2D circuits, one book rule. Next, Mr. Combs objects to the $5,000 assessment under the statute because there are no victims. Denied. Wow. This is still the judge. I have the forfeiture order. Is this your signature, Mr. Combs? Combs says, yes, sir. Judge says, Mr. Steele, did you review it? And Combs, Garago, okay, the Garago's lawyer, I did. The judge says, I incorporate the order into the judgment in this case. Whew, this is moving really quick. Moving quick, moving quick, moving quick. My goodness. Whew. Y'all, if you come as you come in, if you watching replay or anything, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the channel. And let's go over here, see if there's anything updated with her, with our other reporter. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go here. Let's see. So he was talking, okay. Prior to being in jail, I took care of and was present for my family. Being in jail and because of my conduct, I lost the ability to care for my mother. I lost the ability to effectively raise and support my children. I have missed my 3 daughters' proms and graduations. I have missed taking one of my daughters to college. I have lost the freedom to teach my 2-year-old how to speak, dance, play, or be there to console her when she falls down or has a nightmare. I started from nothing and worked hard to earn everything I had. But because of my conduct, I have lost all of my businesses. I have lost my career. I lost my charter schools that I started, and I have destroyed my reputation and stained the reputation of those that worked for me. I lost my being present with my family. Between all of my losses and lessons, I can state for a fact that I will never be in another criminal courtroom again, and I do not believe any other person would do anything similar from fear of similar punishment. If you give me a chance, I would like the opportunity to share my story with people to prevent at least one person from making the mistakes that I've made. All right, so he's pleading for his freedom. All right, so this is the last page. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. I know that God put me here to transform me since incarceration. I have won through a spiritual reset. I have gone through a spiritual reset. I'm on a journey that will take time and hard work. I'm proud to say I'm working harder than I ever have before. I'm committed to the journey of remaining a drug-free, nonviolent, and peaceful person. I thank God that I'm stronger, wiser, clean, clear, and sober. God makes no mistakes. I realize that this trial has received a tremendous amount of global press, and Your Honor may be inclined to make an example out of me. I would ask Your Honor to make me an example of what a person can do if afforded a second chance. If you allow me to go home to my family, I promise I will not let you down and I will make you proud. Today, I humbly ask you for another chance to be a better father, another chance to be a better son, another chance to be a better leader in my community, and another chance to live a better life. I'm writing this not to gain any sympathy or pity. This experience is simply the truth of my existence and has changed my life forever, and I will never commit a crime again. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sean Combs. All right, so there you have it. That's what Sean wrote to the judge last night in the middle of the night. All right, so there we have that. So there we have that. Again, I don't have any makeup on or anything. I'm going to turn my camera off just to feel more comfortable. How about that? Okay, so there you have it. That's what the judge wrote. I mean, that's what Puffy wrote to the judge last night. All right, let's go to let me the camera a little bit. Give me a little time to relax a little bit because whew, let's see. Right, so I don't see any new updates. Okay. Since they were discussing acquitted conduct. What you say? Oh, what you feel? Oh, what you know? To be real, you got to be real. You got to be real. Mm. Look what's okay. So I'm not gonna play the sound, but take a look at what Sukiyana. Take a look at this. She's so wild. She's a trip. Oops, that's the wrong thing. It okay. Ooh. Oops. Take this out since it's my earpiece is dead. See if there's any updates. All right, let's see. Just a moment. All right, let's see. Okay, so there definitely are some updates. All right, let's see here. Ooh, it's getting juicy. All right, so after discussing how the court can consider, let me get my glasses here. All right, so after discussing how the court can consider from acquitted charges in today's sentencing, the judge noted how Combs has the denied the facts of guilt by saying he was paying for time and not for sex. Okay, we know that. That's the judge's opinion in evidence brought by prosecutors during the trial. Holmes did not express remorse for the charge of transporting people for prostitution, which a judge said is flatly inconsistent with reality and his accepting responsibility. Did the judge read his 4-page letter? Sub said Combs has also challenged his guilt full-throatedly, which means he may not receive any sentencing adjustment for acceptance of responsibility. What was the what was he apologizing for in the letter? He said he is wrong. Okay, so the defense raises Fifth and Sixth Amendment concerns. So Combs' defense claims its clients might have his Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights violated if pre- uh, produce prejudicial evidence is used against him at this at this sentencing. Okay, this is Shapiro. I want to be clear, there are Fifth and Sixth Amendment issues, double jeopardy at stake here. The Fifth and Sixth Amendment protects Americans from being tried twice for the same underlying action, while the Sixth Amendment guarantees fair and speedy trials. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so prosecutor Slavic does say the defense accuses us of seeking 135 months so that the court splits the difference. We think probation's recommendation of 60 months does not account sufficiently for the harm to Cassie and Jane. The defendant tries to and this is still prosecutors. The defendant tries to argue that is just a sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle, but this is a case about transportation for prostitution and violence. The defendant, the defendant's respect for the law is lip service. Wow. Okay, so this is still prosecution. Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for Miami for next week. What? Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, snap. That's not, the judge is not going to like that. He already seems to not like Puffy, honestly. This says Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for a Miami for next week. This is the height. Oh my gosh. He did this for 15 years. He was responsible for transporting many escorts. There's a lot of freak offs and a lot of hotel nights. He knew it was illegal. Oh my goodness. Ah, this is, that is too funny. I think that was the funniest thing I've heard today for sure. That's so fun. During this whole trial, that was, no, it's not the funniest, but this man has booked speaking engagements as early as next week for Miami. What the world? So Puffy thinks he's walking today. That's what that means. His team thinks he's walking today. All right. Well, we'll see. He may. Hey, we don't know. He may. Oh my goodness. Wow. Woo. Boy, oh boy. Well, that's interesting. So we've read the letter. That was our main priority this morning. Well, the main priority is to see what the sentencing is going to be. But we've gone over. You know, it's getting good. Mm, it's getting good. So it's so far it's an hour and a half into this, sentencing hearing. So Mm-mm. Well, we don't know. I think what probably I will do is I think I'm going to come back live once we get closer to sentencing. Or once we even get the sentencing, I will probably come back live. But for now, I think I'm going to just follow it and just take care of some other stuff I have to take care of. Those of you who have come in to watch and support the channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel and keep in keep keep updated with our audit videos, because we're still following tyrant government officials. We want to make sure that they take accountability for their actions, so that's something that we're diving deep into as well. And yeah, we wish Puffy the best, but we'll see what's going to be the result in just a little bit. Um, it's probably going to be right after we end the live. I don't know, but we'll come back and discuss it though more for sure. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Those of you who may be watching on the replay, I really appreciate it. Like the video, and I will see you next time. I am April and TCG fam. I am out. Thank you.